The Helios mining station hung in the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, its massive solar arrays drinking in the distant sunlight. Sarah Chen, chief archaeologist, pressed her hand against the observation window, watching as the recovery drones brought in their latest find. The Helios mining station hung in the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, its massive solar arrays drinking in the distant sunlight. Sarah Chen, chief archaeologist, pressed her hand against the observation window, watching as the recovery drones brought in their latest find. The object was unlike anything they'd recovered before. A perfect dodecahedron, roughly the size of a beach ball, its surface covered in flowing patterns that seemed to shift in the harsh light of the station's external floods. Analysis coming in now, Marcus Rhodes, her assistant, called from his station. Material composition is. That can't be right. He tapped his console several times, frowning. The scanner says it's made of elements that don't exist on our periodic table. Sarah turned from the window, her heart racing. After 15 years of searching the outer solar system for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence, they'd finally found something genuine. Run it again. Check for quantum signatures. The artifact hung suspended in the recovery bay's containment field, its surface patterns now definitely moving, like oil on water. The room's sensors recorded everything, feeding data to the banks of computers that lined the walls. This far from Earth, they were on their own. Communications took hours to reach home. Dr. Chen, Marcus's voice had dropped to a whisper. It's generating power, and the output is increasing exponentially. Sarah rushed to his station, reading the numbers scrolling across his screen. Emergency protocols. Now, get everyone to safe distance and. The artifact pulsed once, brilliant white light flooding the recovery bay. Every screen in the control room lit up simultaneously, displaying the same message in perfectly formed English. Verification sequence einheitlich. CEKing authorized responses. Bureau ADCA staying activation signal. Kill the power. Sarah shouted, but it was too late. The artifact had gone into overdrive, its energy signature blazing like a beacon in the void. They didn't have to wait long for a response. The first ships appeared 12 hours later, smooth, crystalline vessels that slipped into existence at the edge of their sensor range. Their design was organic, almost predatory, and they moved with a grace that made human spacecraft look primitive in comparison. 7 vessels, Marcus reported, his voice steady despite the circumstances. Largest is about 2 kilometers in length. They're running hot. Energy readings suggest weapons powered up. Sarah watched the alien fleet approach on the main display. The mining station's small security force had mobilized, but their handful of point defense batteries would be useless against ships of that size. Earth force was scrambling a response, but help was days away. The alien transmission came on all frequencies, translated in real time by their computers. This is Overseer Vaxtol of the Nexari Collective. You have activated a restricted artifact. Surrender it immediately or face obliteration. You have 1 standard rotation to comply. Sarah looked at the artifact, still pulsing with internal light. 15 years of searching for proof of alien life, and now first contact would end in either surrender or destruction. Unless. She keyed the station's comm system. Overseer Vaxtol, I am Dr. Sarah Chen of the Helios mining station. We discovered this artifact during routine operations and had no knowledge of its restricted status. We are willing to discuss terms for its transfer. The response was immediate and harsh. There are no terms to discuss. Your species is classified as pre-emergent. Contact was not scheduled for another 3 centuries. The artifact must be surrendered immediately. Sarah felt anger rise in her chest. Pre-emergent. We've colonized our solar system, developed quantum computing, and mastered fusion power. By what right do you classify us at all? There was a pause before the alien responded. When it came, the tone was different, curious, almost amused. You object to your classification. Interesting. Most species accept the collective's judgment without question. Perhaps, yes, this may present an opportunity. The alien fleet had stopped its advance, holding position just outside weapons range. Not that the station's weapons would have mattered. "We will send a representative," Vaxtol continued. "If you can prove your species' worth, we may reconsider your classification. Failure will result in immediate confiscation of the artifact and isolation of your system until the scheduled contact date. Prepare for arrival." Before Sarah could respond, a shimmer of light appeared in the control room. A figure materialized, tall, willowy, with iridescent skin and multiple compound eyes. It wore what appeared to be living armor, patterns flowing across its surface like those on the artifact. "I am Executor Ixal," the being announced, its words translated by some unseen mechanism. "I will evaluate your worthiness." It turned its attention to the artifact, still suspended in the recovery bay. "You have no idea what you found, do you?" Sarah straightened her spine, meeting those alien eyes without flinching. "Then enlighten us. What exactly did we activate?" The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "You've activated a key to power beyond your comprehension. The network sleeps, waiting for worthy guardians. The collective has protected it for millennia, ensuring it doesn't fall into the hands of lesser species. And who decided you were worthy to make that judgment?" Sarah challenged, even as Marcus tried to signal her to be more diplomatic. Ixal turned those compound eyes back to her, and she felt the weight of ancient intelligence behind them. "We proved ourselves, just as you must now prove yourselves. The artifact responds to potential. It would not have activated for a truly primitive species. But potential alone is not enough." The alien gestured, and holographic displays filled the air around them, showing scenes from Earth's history, wars, environmental disasters, acts of both cruelty and kindness. "Your species is violent, fractious, often short-sighted. Yet you also create beauty, seek knowledge, and show remarkable resilience. The question is, are you ready for the responsibility this discovery brings?" Sarah looked at the artifact, its patterns now moving in sync with those on Ixal's armor. "What kind of proof do you require?" "A test," Ixal replied. "One that will determine not just your fate, but the fate of many other emerging civilizations. The network was built to protect, Dr. Chen. The question is, can humanity set aside its own interests to protect others?" The artifact pulsed again, and new information flooded their screens. Data about dozens of developing civilizations, all waiting to take their first steps into the galactic community. The weight of the moment pressed down on Sarah's shoulders. This wasn't just about humanity anymore. Their response here would affect countless other species. "We'll take your test," she said firmly. "But understand this. We'll do it as equals, not as subjects awaiting your judgment. Humanity has earned its place among the stars, whether you recognize it yet or not." Ixal's armor patterns shifted to a deep, resonant blue. Bold words. "Let us see if your species can match them with actions. The trial begins now." The artifact's light grew blinding, and Sarah felt knowledge pouring into her mind. The true history of the galaxy, the purpose of the network, and the massive responsibility that came with its power. As her consciousness expanded to accommodate this flood of information, she realized that humanity's greatest test was just beginning. The choice they made here would echo across centuries, determining not just humanity's fate, but the fate of countless other species reaching for the stars. The sleeping giants of the past had left them a legacy. Now they had to prove themselves worthy of it. The emergency meeting of the United Earth Council was chaos. Holographic representatives from every major nation argued as footage of the alien fleet hovering near the Helios station played on repeat. Sarah stood in the center of the chamber, the artifact's data streaming through her neural interface. "You're telling us that some ancient civilization built a galactic defense network, and these Nexari have been keeping other species from accessing it." The Chinese premier's hologram leaned forward, his eyes sharp. "Why? What are they afraid of?" "Control," Sarah answered, organizing the flood of information in her mind. The network isn't just a defense system. It's a means of uplifting civilizations safely, ensuring they develop without outside interference. The Nexari don't want competition. Admiral Helena Rodriguez, commander of Earth Force, stepped forward. Her weathered face was grim. Our long-range sensors show more Nexari ships entering the system. Whatever we're going to do, we need to decide quickly. Sarah gestured, and the chamber filled with new holographic displays. Star maps showing hundreds of developing civilizations, each at different stages of advancement. The network creators saw potential in all of these species. They built the system to protect them until they were ready to join the galactic community. And now we have to prove we're worthy to be its guardians. The African Union representative scoffed. How? We can barely maintain peace on Earth. That's exactly why we were chosen. Marcus interjected, stepping up beside Sarah. He'd been analyzing the artifact's data for hours. The network doesn't want perfect guardians. It wants ones who understand struggle, who know the cost of conflict, and the value of peace. Sarah nodded, bringing up more displays. The network creators left markers throughout our history, subtle influences guiding our development. They saw something in humanity, our resilience, our creativity, our ability to learn from our mistakes, and our capacity for violence, the Russian president added darkly. Let's not pretend we're saints. No, Sarah agreed. We're not. But we're also not the savages the Nexari claim we are. The artifact didn't activate by accident. It recognized humanity's potential. The chamber fell silent as new data scrolled across the displays. Detailed scans of the Nexari fleet. The artifact was providing information about their capabilities, their weaknesses, their history. They're afraid. Admiral Rodriguez realized, studying the data. They've been the sole guardians for so long, they can't imagine sharing that power. Sarah brought up another display, showing the network's true scope. Millions of nodes scattered throughout the galaxy, each protecting and nurturing developing civilizations. The network was never meant to be controlled by a single species. The creators believed in cooperation, in different perspectives working together. And if we refuse, someone asked, if we just give them the artifact and wait our turn, then we condemn those civilizations to centuries more under Nexari control, Marcus answered. The network is failing. That's why it activated for us. It needs new guardians, new perspectives. The chamber erupted in debate again, but Sarah could see the shift in attitudes. Humanity had always dreamed of the stars, of taking their place in a larger community. Now they had the chance not just to join that community, but to help shape its future. Executor Ixel materialized in the chamber, causing a ripple of surprise. Your time grows short, the alien announced. The collective demands an answer. Sarah stepped forward, her mind racing through the artifact's data. Before we answer, I want to show you something. She gestured and new holograms appeared. Scenes from Earth's history, but not the ones the Nexari had shown. These were moments of triumph over adversity, of cooperation in the face of disaster, of humans reaching out to help others even at great cost to themselves. You showed us our failures, she said to Ixel. Now see our successes. See why the network chose us. The alien's compound eyes studied the displays, its armor patterns shifting through complex colors. These are impressive examples, but they do not negate your species' violent tendencies. No, Admiral Rodriguez agreed, stepping up beside Sarah. They show why we're perfect for this role. We understand both conflict and peace, both failure and success. We know what's at stake. Sarah could see the calculation in those alien eyes. The Nexari were proud, but they were also practical. The network needs guardians who understand the cost of war, she pressed. Who better than a species that has fought its way back from the brink multiple times? And what guarantee can you offer that humanity won't abuse this power? Ixel demanded. None. Sarah answered honestly. just as you can offer no guarantee that the Nexari haven't abused it. But we can offer something else. Partnership. Work with us, not against us. Let humanity prove its worth through actions, not tests. The artifact pulsed, its patterns synchronizing with both Ixal's armor and the chamber's displays. New data flooded the network, and Sarah gasped as she understood. The test had never been about proving humanity's worth to the Nexari. It had been about proving humanity's worth to the network itself. The network accepts your proposal, Ixal announced, surprise evident in its tone. The collective will adapt. The chamber erupted in celebration, but Sarah's attention was on the new data streaming through her neural interface. The network was vast, complex, and now it was responding to human input, showing them civilizations in need of immediate protection. Their real test was just beginning, not proving themselves to the Nexari, but proving themselves worthy of the trust those countless developing civilizations would place in them. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger role in the galaxy, but with that step came responsibilities they were only beginning to understand. Sarah stood in the new network control center, carved into the heart of Olympus Mons on Mars. The massive chamber hummed with power as humanity's best scientists worked to understand the ancient technology they'd inherited. The artifact, now integrated into the facility's central core, pulsed with steady light. Another emergent civilization detected, Marcus announced from his station. Third one this week. The network is becoming more responsive to our presence. Executor Ixal moved through the chamber, its living armor reflecting the blue light of countless holographic displays. In the month since the agreement, the Nexari representative had become an unlikely ally, helping humanity understand their new role. The network was designed to grow, Ixal explained, gesturing at a star map showing thousands of protected worlds. Under collective control, we maintained only existing connections. Your species' interaction has awakened dormant protocols. Sarah studied the new civilization's data, a young species just discovering spaceflight, their world rich with resources that would make them tempting targets for exploitation. They need protection immediately. The network is showing 3 different advanced civilizations operating in nearby systems. The Ravagers, Ixal's tone was grim. They prey on emerging worlds, stealing resources and technology. The collective has struggled to contain them for centuries. Admiral Rodriguez, now commanding humanity's first network-enhanced fleet, appeared as a hologram in the chamber. Then let's show them how humanity handles bullies. Task Force 7 is ready for deployment. Sarah felt the network's response through her neural interface, a surge of approval at humanity's immediate willingness to protect others. The ancient system had chosen well. Humans might be new to galactic politics, but defending the weak against the strong was a concept they understood intimately. Coming up on first network node activation, Marcus reported. Power readings are off the scale. The chamber's displays shifted, showing a massive structure hidden in the void between stars. As they watched, it came alive, ancient machinery awakening after millennia of dormancy. Similar nodes were activating throughout the sector, forming an interconnected web of protection around the vulnerable civilization. Beautiful, Ixal whispered, compound eyes reflecting the sight. We never achieved this level of integration with the network. Your species' neural architecture is surprisingly compatible. Sarah had wondered about that. Humans could interface with the network in ways the Nexari never could, suggesting the system's creators had perhaps done more than just observe humanity's development. But that was a mystery for another time. Multiple ships detected entering the protected zone, Marcus announced. Ravager signatures confirmed. The chamber's main display showed the scene. Sleek, predatory vessels approaching the young civilization's home system, unaware of the trap they were sailing into. Task Force 7 waited in the shadows of the network nodes, their ships enhanced by ancient technology they were only beginning to understand. Ravager vessels, this is Admiral Helena Rodriguez of the Earth Force Network Division. Rodriguez's voice rang through space. You are entering a protected system. Withdraw immediately, or face consequences. The response was predictable: threats, boasts, and demands for submission. The Ravagers had grown used to being the strongest power in their sector. They were about to learn differently. "They're not backing down," Marcus reported. "Weapons charging." Sarah nodded to Rodriguez's hologram. "Show them why the network chose humanity as its new guardians." The battle was brief but decisive. The network-enhanced human ships moved with impossible speed and precision, their weapons bypassing the Ravagers' shields as if they didn't exist. Within minutes, the predatory fleet was disabled, their crews facing the consequences of their actions. The collective spent centuries playing defensive games with raiders like these. Ixal observed, "Your species' more direct approach has advantages. We protect our own." Sarah replied, watching as Earth Force vessels moved to secure the Ravager ships. "And now, all these developing civilizations are under our protection." The network hummed with approval, and new data streamed through their interfaces: locations of other Ravager bases, details of their operations, weaknesses in their defenses. The ancient system was actively helping humanity clean up threats to its protected worlds. "The network is responding to our actions," Marcus realized, studying the data. "It's not just accepting us as guardians, it's evolving with us, adapting to our methods." Sarah saw the truth in his words. The network wasn't just a defensive system. It was a living technology, growing and changing with its users. Humanity's addition had sparked changes the Nexari never imagined possible. "More distress signals detected," Marcus reported. "The network is identifying multiple situations requiring immediate intervention." Sarah smiled, feeling the pulse of ancient machinery resonating with human determination. "Then let's get to work. We have civilizations to protect." Around them, the network continued to awaken, its power growing as humanity proved again and again why they had been chosen. The sleeping giants of the past had built well, creating a system that could recognize and nurture the potential in others. Now, with humanity as its new guardians, that system was finally achieving its true purpose. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading that change, not through conquest or dominance, but through protection and guidance. The Nexari were learning to share their role, the Ravagers were learning to fear human justice, and countless young civilizations were growing safely under Earth's protection. The true age of humanity was just beginning. 6 months after humanity assumed its role as network guardians, Sarah Chen faced her greatest challenge. The massive holographic chamber beneath Olympus Mons displayed a crisis unfolding across multiple star systems. "Confirm that reading," she ordered, staring at the data streams flowing through her neural interface. "Are you absolutely certain?" Marcus's face was grim as he triple-checked the network's analysis. Confirmed. The Nexari weren't just protecting the network. They were hiding something. Something big. The displays showed a massive structure deep in uncharted space, far larger than any network node they'd encountered. Its power signature was unmistakable. This was the network's central core, its true heart. "Why didn't they tell us about this?" Admiral Rodriguez demanded, her hologram flickering with barely contained anger. Executor Ixal stepped forward, armor patterns swirling with complex emotions. "Because we feared this day would come. The core is unstable." The network's creators left a final protocol, one that would unlock its full potential. But the price? "Show me," Sarah commanded, and the network responded. New data flooded her mind. The true purpose of the ancient system, and the choice humanity now faced. The core wasn't just a control center, it was a gateway. The network's creators had discovered something fundamental about the universe: the ability to shield entire civilizations from external threats by shifting them slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. But activating this capability required something the Nexari could never provide. "It needs consciousness," Marcus whispered, reading the data. "Not just control, but true understanding. Empathy. The ability to judge not just actions, but intentions." The collective could never achieve the necessary synchronization, Ixal admitted. Our neural architecture is incompatible. But humans, we can do it, Sarah finished. But the cost is our own isolation. Whoever initiates the protocol becomes part of the network permanently, locked out of normal spacetime to maintain the protection. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had proven themselves as guardians, but now they faced an even greater choice: sacrifice their own freedom of action to ensure the absolute safety of countless developing civilizations. There's more, Marcus announced, his voice shaking. Long-range sensors are detecting multiple Ravager fleets, massive ones, larger than anything we've encountered. They've united under a single leader, and they're targeting protected systems simultaneously. The displays filled with urgent data. Dozens of developing civilizations at risk. The network's current defenses stretched to their limits. Even with humanity's innovative tactics and Earth Force's enhanced ships, they couldn't be everywhere at once. How long do we have? Rodriguez demanded. Hours, maybe less. They're using some kind of faster-than-light technology we've never seen before. Our current network nodes can't track them effectively. Sarah felt the weight of billions of lives pressing down on her. The network had chosen humanity for this moment, had guided their development for centuries to prepare them for this choice. There has to be another way, Rodriguez insisted. We can't just sacrifice our own freedom of action. Earth needs its defenders too. Perhaps, Ixal suggested, that is why the protocol requires a conscious choice. The network's creators understood the magnitude of such a sacrifice. Sarah studied the data flowing through her mind. The network was showing her possibilities. Futures where humanity activated the protocol and futures where they didn't. In one, countless civilizations fell to the Ravagers, their potential snuffed out before they could reach the stars. In another, those same civilizations flourished, protected by an invisible shield that no force could penetrate. We need to vote, she announced. Every network-linked human needs to understand the choice we're facing. This isn't a decision I can make alone. The network responded, spreading the data to every human neural interface. Around the world, and throughout Earth's colonies, people received the information, understood the stakes. Multiple Ravager fleets now entering protected space, Marcus reported. First attacks beginning. Earth force responding, but we're outnumbered. Sarah watched the battles unfold. Brave human ships fighting alongside Nexari vessels, trying to hold back a tide of destruction. They were fighting well, but there were too many enemies, too many systems to protect. Vote incoming, Marcus announced. 90% completion. 95. Final tally complete. Sarah looked at the result and felt a surge of pride in her species. When faced with a choice between their own freedom and the protection of others, humanity had chosen exactly as the network's creators had hoped they would. Admiral, she said quietly, pull our ships back to safe positions. Executor Ixal, I trust the collective will honor our choice. The aliens' armor patterns shifted to a deep, respectful blue. We will ensure Earth remains protected while you maintain the greater shield. The Nexari understand sacrifice, Dr. Chen. We will not forget humanity's choice this day. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the network's power gathering around her. Then let's show the galaxy why the Ancient Ones chose humanity as their successors. Marcus, begin the protocol. The network's heart began to pulse, and Sarah Chen prepared to make history, not through conquest or domination, but through the ultimate act of protection. The transformation was both subtle and profound. As Sarah's consciousness merged with the network's core, she felt her awareness expand across thousands of light years. Every protected system, every developing civilization became as clear to her as the chambers of her own heart. Integration complete, Marcus reported, his voice thick with emotion. The shield it's beautiful. On the displays, they washed as a wave of crystalline energy spread outward from the core, encompassing every protected system. The attacking Ravager fleets found themselves suddenly unable to reach their targets, their weapons and ships sliding off reality itself like water from glass. "The phase shift is stable," Ixal announced, studying readings that even the Nexari had never seen before. "All protected systems are now operating in a slightly different layer of spacetime. The Ravagers cannot touch them." Sarah's voice echoed through the chamber, though her physical form had transformed into pure energy within the core. "I can see them all," she said, wonder in her tone. "Every civilization, every potential future. The network's creators built better than anyone imagined." Admiral Rodriguez's hologram watched the tactical displays as the Ravager fleets scattered, their grand offensive rendered meaningless by humanity's sacrifice. "Status of Earth Force vessels. All ships accounted for," Marcus reported. They're getting signals from the protected civilizations, messages of gratitude, of awe. Word is spreading about what humanity has done. Through her expanded consciousness, Sarah could feel the ripples of change spreading through the galaxy. The Ravagers' power was broken, their ability to prey on developing worlds taken away forever. The Nexari Collective was already adapting, shifting from its role as sole guardian to something new: teachers, guides, allies to humanity's protective shield. "The network is still evolving," she announced, watching new connections form between protected systems. "It's not just a defensive shield. It's a cradle for civilizations to grow, to learn from each other while remaining safe from exploitation." Ixal's armor patterns shifted through colors never before seen on a Nexari. "We protected for so long, we forgot to nurture. Your species has transformed the network into what it was always meant to be." Marcus studied the new data flowing through his interface. The protected civilizations. They can communicate with each other now, share knowledge and culture while remaining physically secure. "It's like a galactic nursery. A nursery with humanity as its guardians," Rodriguez added, pride evident in her voice. "Sarah, can you show us what you're seeing?" The chamber's displays shifted, showing the galaxy from Sarah's new perspective. Protected worlds glowed like jewels in the void, each one surrounded by the subtle shimmer of the phase shield. But more than that, lines of communication and connection spread between them, forming a web of shared knowledge and understanding. "The network's creators left us more than just technology," Sarah's voice echoed with newfound wisdom. "They left us a vision of what the galaxy could be, not a place of competition and conquest, but a garden where new civilizations can grow safely, learning from each other's successes and failures." Through her expanded awareness, she could see the future unfolding, centuries of protected development ahead, as young species reached for the stars under humanity's watchful eye. The Nexari would serve as teachers and diplomats, their ancient knowledge finally finding its proper purpose, and Earth itself would continue to grow and evolve, its people knowing that their greatest achievement was not conquest or dominion, but the ultimate act of protection. "New signals detected," Marcus announced, wonder in his voice. "The protected civilizations, they're holding celebrations. They understand what's happened, what humanity has done for them." Sarah felt their joy, their gratitude, their hope for the future. The network's creators had believed that true strength lay not in the ability to destroy, but in the willingness to protect. Humanity had proven them right. "The Ravagers are retreating from all known space," Rodriguez reported with satisfaction. "Without the ability to prey on developing worlds, their confederation is already fracturing. A new age of peace is beginning. Peace protected by humanity's sacrifice," Ixal added solemnly. "The collective will ensure your people are remembered as the heroes you truly are." But Sarah could see something even greater unfolding. Her consciousness, expanded beyond normal human limits, perceived the network's final gift, the possibility of evolution beyond the phase shield. The protected civilizations would grow, learn, and eventually reach a point where they could join their guardians in maintaining the safety of newer species. "This isn't an ending," she announced, her voice carrying to every human neural interface across Earth and its colonies. "It's the beginning of something greater than we ever imagined. We haven't lost our freedom. we've transformed it into the power to ensure freedom for countless others. The network pulsed with power, its ancient machinery singing in harmony with human consciousness. The galaxy was changing, transformed by humanity's choice to sacrifice their own advancement for the protection of others. But in that sacrifice, they had achieved something far greater than military might or technological supremacy. They had become the guardians of hope itself. In the chamber beneath Olympus Mons, humans and adversaries stood together, watching as their shared future unfolded. The sleeping giants of the past had chosen well. Humanity had not only awakened their legacy, but had transformed it into something even its creators had only dreamed possible. The age of conquest was over. The age of protection had begun. And at its heart, humanity's consciousness washed over it all, ensuring that every new civilization would have the chance to reach for the stars without fear. It was Sarah Nu, the greatest adventure of all.